Let's be honest, when you think of Macau, what do you picture? Its key line of golden skyscrapers, the constant blinding glow of neon, and the sound of a million slot machines. It's Fagazia, a city that seems to run on pure luck and luxury. But I was convinced that's not the whole story. The real soul of Macau is hiding far, far away from the Cotai Strip. Join me. I'm ditching the casinos. This is a solo trip to find the city's heart. I want to get lost in the quiet colonial streets, find the little family-run bakeries, and stand on a green hill looking out over the sea. This is my mission to find the authentic Macau, the one most people fly right over, and I'm taking you with me. To really get away from the casino chaos, you have to go as far south as possible, to a place that feels like it's in another era. Coloane Village. The second you step off the bus, you can feel the change. The air gets salty, everything slows down, and the city noise is replaced by the sound of the water lapping against the shore. This is where Macau's history feels alive. It's a sleepy little village made for wandering. The lanes are narrow, lined with gorgeous, pastel-colored Portuguese-style houses with their old wooden shutters and tiled roofs. It's stunning, but it also feels like a breath of fresh air from that stale, smoky casino air. You see laundry hanging from balconies, locals chatting on benches in the shade, and little fishing boats rocking in the harbor. It's an authentic kind of beautiful. At the center of it all is the Chapel of St. Francis Xavier, a vibrant yellow Baroque-style church that just pops against the distinctive Portuguese cobblestone square. It's that perfect Macau mix of East and West. And then, just steps away, you find the Tam Kung Temple. A traditional Chinese temple with its bright red doors, a nod to the generations of fishermen who have prayed there. But you can't come to Cologne and not make one specific pilgrimage. There's almost always a small, patient line of people here for one thing: Lord Stowe's Bakery. An Englishman named Andrew Stowe opened up shop here in 1989 and created his own spin on the Portuguese. Pastel de nata. In doing so, he basically invented Macau's most iconic food. Getting one of these fresh out of the oven with that flaky crust, the rich creamy custard, and the signature scorched top, and eating it right here by the water, it's more than just a snack. It's a taste of modern Macanese history, right at the source. It's the perfect start. It's quiet, beautiful, and completely authentically Macau. That egg tart was just an appetizer. If you want to find a culture story, you have to taste it. I wanted to go beyond the tourist snack shops and find a place that felt like it was preserved in amber. And that hunt led me up a narrow staircase near the Red Market, to a spot that feels like it's straight out of a movie. This is the Lung Hua Tea House, opened in 1962. It's one of the last old-school tea houses in Macau. Stepping inside is like jumping back 60 years. Forget air conditioning, there are just huge ceiling fans turning lazily overhead. The windows are thrown open to the sounds of the market below, and you'll see locals who have been regulars for decades. Reading their newspapers among the owner's collection of calligraphy and antiques, this isn't just a restaurant, it's a living museum. First, you grab your tea from one of the big Tinsno fancy menus, here with grande chai lattes. Then comes the dim sum. But you don't order from a server. You just walk over to a little cart and point at what looks good. Steamed pork buns, savory dumplings. My favorite was this fluffy yellow steamed cake that was unbelievably fragrant. The food is simple, honest, and traditional. It's not made for show. It's made the way it has been for generations. It's just sitting there by the window, sipping tea and eating dim sum. You've legitimately tapped into the real daily rhythm of the city. But Macau's authentic flavors don't stop there. Tucked away in the historic center and the side streets of Taipa are little spots selling other local treasures. You have to try a pork chop buna, perfectly crispy bone-in pork chop stuffed into a soft, warm bun. It's simple, hearty, and it's pure Macanese comfort food. In some of the older bakeries, you can also find other traditional Chinese pastries, like a pineapple bun with its sweet, crumbly topping. These are the flavors that tell Macau's real story, a mix of Cantonese tradition and a dash of Portuguese influence. Served not in a fancy resort, but in humble shops that have been here for years. This is the side of Macau I was looking for. The history, the flavors, the real local spots. If you're enjoying this little journey and want to see more adventures that skip the tourist traps, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks. Now, where were we? Almost everyone who visits Macau sees the ruins of St. Paul's. That iconic stone facade is the city's most famous landmark. A powerful piece of its Christian history. And yeah, it's amazing. But I found the real magic isn't just staring at the ruins with 1,000 other people. It's getting lost in the quiet, cobblestone alleys that snake out from behind it. In these little lanes, the crowds just disappear. You'll stumble upon quirky artisan shops, little pop-up art galleries, and the smell of fresh almond cookies wafting out of bakeries that have been there forever. This is where you really feel that blend of cultures. One second you're on a street that feels completely European, and the next you turn a corner into a hidden incense-filled temple wedged between the buildings. From the peninsula, I hopped over the bridge to Taipa, which most people just see as a gateway to the Cotai Strip. But Taipa Village itself is an absolute treasure. It's this charming little pocket of history that has somehow survived all the massive development around it. You can wander for hours through its traditional shophouses and beautifully kept colonial homes. One spot you have to see is the Taipa Houses Museum. It's a row of 5 stunning teal-green colonial homes from the 1920s. It's perfectly preserved across from a lotus pond. Walking through them feels like stepping into the life of a Portuguese family a century ago. But again, the best part is just exploring. The village is bursting with vibrant street art and murals that turn boring alley walls into incredible canvases. And while Taipa has its famous food street, Rua do Cunha, oh man, sorry for my pronunciation, the real gems are found when you stray off the main drag. I found a tiny old-school shop called San Hule, a local spot famous for a unique spin on the egg tart. The bird's nest tart. It's a little different, maybe a little less sweet, but it's so incredibly authentic. This is what it's all about, finding those places that aren't in every single guidebook. So I've explored the quiet villages, tasted the history, and walked the old colonial streets. But to really get to the soul of Macau, I felt like I needed a totally different perspective. I had to get away from the buildings entirely and find its nature, because, believe it or not, this hyperdense city has a wild side. I don't mean wild nightlife, I mean wilderness wild. That's what brought me back to Coloane, but this time, not to the village. I was heading for the hills. The Coloane hiking trail is the longest in Macau, a full 8-kilometer loop that winds through the island's green core. Locals call it Macau's green lung. As I set out on the trail, the city just melted away. The air got cooler, smelling of pine and damp earth. The path twisted through lush forests, opening up to these absolutely breathtaking views of the city and the South China Sea. From up here, you can see it all. The Cotai Strip is just a silent, glittering mirage in the distance. And below, the green hills roll all the way down to the black sands of Hak Sa Beach. There were moments on that trail of pure solitude. It's just me, the sound of my feet on the dirt and the wind in the trees. I eventually made it to the peak, Alto de Coloane, the highest point in Macau, where a giant white statue of Amar, the goddess of the sea, stands watch. And standing there, looking at the sprawling city on one side and the endless ocean on the other, it all clicked. I came here looking for the real Macau, as if it was one specific place I could find. But it's not. The soul of Macau isn't a place, it's in the contrast. It's a 60-year-old tea house, still serving locals in the shadow of a billion-dollar resort. It's a Catholic chapel and a Taoist temple sharing the same tiny village square. It's being able to stand on a silent green mountain and see the Vegas of Asia shimmering right below you. The soul of Macau is this incredible, tough, beautiful blend of nature and concrete, of history and the future, of East and West. You just have to be willing to walk a different path to see it all. So I ditched the casinos. And what did I find? I found a city with so much more depth than I ever imagined. I found pastel villages that feel more like Southern Europe than Southern China. I found food that tells a 100-year-old story of culture and flavor. And I found a real sense of peace on a hiking trail just minutes from the biggest gambling hub in the world. The glitz of the Cotai Strip is definitely a part of Macau, but it's just one chapter in a much bigger, more interesting story. The real story is written on the cobblestone streets, in the steam of a dim sum basket, and in the quiet views from its green hills. Macau's soul isn't hiding. It's right there for anyone willing to look beyond the neon. So the next time you think of Macau, I hope you'll picture this side of it too. The quiet streets, the incredible nature, the rich history. The real Macau, and I hope it inspires you to go find it for yourself. Thanks for coming along with me.